So I was playing TF2 yesterday morning with my good friend Snowville, and someone in the chat just randomly happened to say this by chance. I asked him if I could turn it into a video, and sure enough, today we're going to be ranking all of the player destruction collectibles to see which ones I think would taste the best. As of right now, there are only 8 player destruction maps, over 50% of which are Halloween related, so you can imagine not everything on this list is going to taste amazing. But as I was saying in my previous video, the struggle to find original ideas on this game is so incredibly intense that this is what I am turning to. To make this video easy to understand, we're going to be covering each player destruction map, how the map functions, what the collectibles are, and then how I think they would taste. That might sound like a lot, however the first lot of that is only 20 seconds worth of talking, and then I'll be talking for a good while about how I think each one would taste. We will be covering them in no particular order, and you may disagree with my picks, however you are factually wrong as I have the YouTube channel and you do not, so without further ado, let's just get into it. It only feels right to start where the question was asked, so let's start with Pit of Death. The killed players on Pit of Death drop these little souls here, and the idea is that you take the souls into the underworld and damn them there for all of eternity. Now, I don't know about you guys, but judging from the colour and appearance of these things, these souls clearly taste like blackcurrants. I don't know if Americans even have blackcurrants, because apparently you guys don't have rhubarb, but blackcurrants are basically just stronger, nicer blueberries. Blackcurrant flavoured things are delicious, blackcurrant flavoured gummies are delicious, and of course blackcurrant souls are delicious, so these things are going to be going pretty high on our list. So yeah, blackcurrant souls, very tasty, definitely A tier. Now switching from blackcurrant souls to lime flavoured on Cursed Cove. Cursed Cove is an incredibly creative map, and the soul drops for these are these little skeleton heads here. The idea of Cursed Cove is that you're collecting souls to take to Davy Jones' locker where he can do whatever he does with them. Now, judging from the visual appearance alone on these souls, we can clearly tell that they're lime flavoured. However, because they're much more translucent than the previous souls, these souls have been watered down. Shrinkflation is a growing real thing in the real world, and watering down drinks is very common in business practices. So yeah, you can clearly see that how translucent these things are indicates that they've been watered down very much, so while there is going to be some nice liminess flavours in there, it's not going to be anywhere near enough as it should be. Lime souls, lime is nice obviously, but it's watered down, you can clearly see it. B tier. Next we have Farmageddon, and this is probably the most unique of the player destruction maps. So the story behind Farmageddon is that there's this giant mutated pumpkin that's turned evil or something and can summon scarecrows, so each teams are collecting weed killer to go into the belly of the beast and essentially poison it. No one can ever not tell me this is cool, and I absolutely love this map. However, the skeleton reskins have been turned into scarecrows, and they have so much health. Like, does anyone else fighting these things really agitating because of the sheer amount of health they have? Oh, anyway. Dead enemies dropped Weed Killer upon death, and Weed Killer... there's probably some sort of legalities with me condoning the drinkage of this. So, I mean, it could be lemon flavoured, but I don't think so. So, at the end of the day, Weed Killer is poisonous, and I legally cannot condone drinking it. D tier. Now, with Monster Bash, we have a completely new different take on things with actual human body parts. So, here's a little fun fact for you about the slave trade. Yes, that is a genuine thing we are now talking about. When slaves would be branded with hot irons, it's said that the searing flesh smelt a lot like bacon. So, there is a way in which you could take that human body parts when cooked to taste like bacon. However, these things are clearly raw and they're in a bucket, and buckets are not clean. The objective of Monster Bash is to kill your enemy and collect their body parts, and then build them into the Frankenstein in the middle. The team who does it first wins. However, the point of these objects is that you build them into Frankenstein, not feed them to him, and essentially, I don't think he's going to be wanting to eat these things either. I mean, these body parts could be gummy flavoured, but I highly doubt they are. But then again, I'd rather eat body parts than Weed Killer. Now, Snowville is our next one, and the only Christmas themed one in the entire roster. So the story of Snowville is that you're collecting presents from the enemy's corpses and essentially delivering them to Santa and his 2 Robo-Pyro reindeer. And yes, upon death, enemies drop presents. Now, there's not an awful lot we can really determine from this, as we don't know what are in the presents, but considering TF2 takes place around somewhere near the 70s or something like that, I'm going to assume these are toys. I am neither gay nor a woman, so there's no reason I'd ever want to shove toys down my throat ever, so the last thing I'm going to be wanting is toys. To eat anyway. C tier. Now, Suban is interesting, as I thought after the summer update, Suban just would have died, but there are still hundreds of players queuing for it. The story of Suban is that there is a seal being released into the wild or something like that, and you have to give him the fishes. Judging from the look of the fish, I assume they're salmon, but I'm not awfully sure, and I'm not going to pretend to be a wise ass and know either. Now, with this, we have finally reached our first actual edible food on this list. Now, I don't eat fish, but they're clearly more edible than souls and presents and body parts and all sorts of other things like that. Again, I don't personally eat fish, but this is about the only edible thing on the list, really. Manania is by far my favourite of the play destruction maps, and it's also the newest. The story of Manania is that there's Dracula in a coffin and you have to kill the enemies, take their blood, and feed it to him. This in combination with Monster Bash works incredibly well in terms of TF2 aesthetics, and it's also utilising again human body parts. Dead enemies will drop a bag of blood, and well, blood is technically edible. It's just it can be risky if you don't know where it comes from. Like, for example, it can contain STDs or other sorts of things like that. And then there's also different blood types and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, my own blood is tasty, but I'm not too sure I want to be eating anyone else's, so we're going to put that in B tier. And lastly, Watergate, the very first play destruction map ever added, and once again, I could not find a game of it. Thank God for that Sleepy Fox on YouTube. Please go give him some likes, as I've used a lot of his footage in this video. The story of Watergate is that you're going around collecting beer bottles to feed to this alien ship, which I assume poisons it or something, I'm not too sure. So yes, killed enemy players will drop a bottle of sorts, and considering how this is alcohol, I'm already putting it in S tier, no questions asked. Obviously, before someone gets their knickers in a twist again, I do have to say that I do not legally condone the overabusage of alcohols or alcoholic substances, but I do like. This map had always been more of a meme in the TF2 community than a solid game mode, but it had laid the foundations for what would eventually become one of my favourite game modes to play, genuinely. Finally, the booze. This is going straight into S tier, as when boozed up I think I could eat everything else on this list. Just having a final look around here to see if I want to move anything around, and I think I'm going to move the gummy souls into the same tier. I mean, look, they're both clearly delicious, more delicious than blood anyway. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And there we go, that is every single play destruction collectible ranked by how much I'd want to eat them, or tastiness, or whatever the title was, I don't actually remember. Thank you very much for wonking? Thank you very much for watching. I am Lon'qudor, and I'm going to be streaming later tonight, 8 PM in England time, so you can figure out whatever that is in whatever country you come from. So yeah. Again, all the footage from all the maps I couldn't capture comes again from that Sleepy Fox on YouTube. Please go give him some likes, and his channel will be linked down in the description below. Apart from that, what would the next video be? Not sure. I want to do another video on Heavy. I want to do a video that I know would get me demonetized, so I don't think I can. I'll talk about it later tonight on stream if you're interested. So please come join for that. I always have some sort of thumbnail relating to Hatsune Miku and the back burner, because it's a long story. Anyway, thank you very much to this name, which I cannot pronounce for the life of me, on Steam for helping me record all the footage of me killing him and then collecting the parts. Thank you everyone else for watching, and I will see you later down the sunny road.